Here we go with 6 lies about the founding of America, starting with lie number 4, Columbus and issues therein. A big idea, everything you know about Columbus is a calculated lie. We'll start with, what did he look like? And which of these images is Columbus? I've seen that one quite a few times. And the problem is, well, they're all Columbus and none of them are Columbus. We have no idea what he looked like. He never actually sat down for a proper portrait. So all the images we have of Columbus are likely of his son, in that he was kind of using his fame and was able to pose for pictures later on. And so we're estimating what he looked like based on what his son looked like. So it'd be like painting a picture of your parents based on what you look like. It might be right, it might be wrong. This is the closest we have as far as what Columbus looked like. We could try facial reconstruction using his bones, but there's also debate on where his bones are. Spain and the Dominican Republic claim to have his bones, and we don't know exactly where his bones are either. So let's take a look at Columbus. The myth. Columbus discovered America thanks to a daring journey across the Atlantic. His crew were angry and about to throw him overboard, but he knew better, and land was spotted. Even after he landed in America, he didn't realize he discovered an entire continent, because maps of America were far less reliable back then. In one of the greatest tragedies of history, Columbus went to his grave, poor, believing he'd merely discovered India. Nobody really got America's potential until the Pilgrims showed up in 1620 and successfully settled the country for the first time. And these are a lot of the myths and problems we get in elementary school history. The idea of this Columbus as the great hero, but he's not evil either, he's just a man. Truth, he didn't see the enormous significance of his ability to cross the Atlantic Ocean because it wasn't that significant. His voyage wasn't that hard. There was smooth sailing, and nobody was threatening to throw him overboard. Nothing like that. It was a different way to go, but nothing too new or hard really. He died wealthy, and with a pretty good idea, at least by the 3rd attempt, that on his journal he writes, "I have come to believe that this is a mighty continent, which has hitherto unknown." So his first couple attempts, he's believing that these are islands off the coast of Asia. But by the end of his life, he's realizing, no, this is something new. And he wouldn't have been calling it America at that point. It was just known as this new land. And he would name each island, but as far as America, that's gonna, we'll talk a bit more about that later. The myths surrounding him cover up the fact that he's calculating, shrewd, and he's hungry for gold, just like any other businessman at that time. Like all the other explorers in his time, it's God, gold, glory. Spread religion, get gold, and bring back great stories. And so he's like anybody else, not evil, not good, is somewhere in between. When he couldn't find enough of the gold to make his voyage profitable, he would focus, because there's not too much gold on the islands. Anything that was on the islands is very quickly dug up. And so instead, the next profit's going to be settling the island and enslaving the local Native Americans. There were plenty of other attempts to settle America between Columbus' discovery, 1492, to the Pilgrims' arrival in 1620. You got a 100-year gap there. But we mostly skip over those because they failed. And it's a lot easier just to talk about the winners and not about these 100 years of attempts to settle into America. And so I'll go into more detail on Columbus as we continue. And so that's a bit on Columbus. You can dig a lot deeper on this. As far as the man versus the myth, it's always somewhere in between.